All right, welcome everyone to today's episode of the Ari Louis Show here on Israel Sports and NewsRadio.com. We have a great show today. We're going to have a lot of great programming throughout the week, so stay tuned. You can listen to the shows, obviously, on YouTube, and you can find me on Facebook under Ari Louis, Arilouis, and keep an eye on our Facebook page as well, Israel Sports Radio. It is great to have on our guest this afternoon. She's come on the show before, a huge megastar, not just in the terms in the world of soccer, but YouTube sensation, also writes for the New York Times, and has completed a lot of great career athletics accomplishments already in college and the national team. So it's great to bring back on the program Yael Averbuch. Yael, how you doing out there?
Hi, good. Great. Pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah, indeed. So I've got to ask you, I know you're from New York, outside of Israel, probably the greatest city in the world, and you're in Kansas City getting ready for the upcoming season. I know that's a bit of a transition. I know you played places outside of New York, but what's it like for a New York girl to be in the Midwest?
Well, yeah, it's funny because actually my roommate is from New York as well. Her name is Rebecca Moros, but we're always constantly talking about, how is this different than the East Coast of the U.S.? I've never actually lived in the Midwest, so it's a new experience for me. So far, Kansas City's been awesome. The weather has been great. I'm loving exploring the new city, and I've found some really cool downtown areas, so loving it here so far.
And when does the season get underway for you?
So our home opener is here in Kansas City on April 12th against Sky Blue FC, actually, the New Jersey team.
Okay, so coming about 11 days from now, and how have you been maintaining being in shape? I mean, we see the pictures all the time on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, obviously you're staying in great shape. How do you go about your off-season workouts?
Yeah, so the off season for me has really been a time where, I don't have any games or any obligations really, but it's been a time for me to tackle some really hard training and not only attack some of my weaknesses and, get in the weight room, work on some speed and strength work that usually would make you a little bit too sore to want to do in season. So I've done a ton of that, and also just, I'm constantly playing pickup with a group, working on technique with the ball individually. So it's a time where I put in a lot of hours doing some things I enjoy, but also some really hard work.
And do you have particular, independent goals or individual goals this season that made you really focus during the off season during your workouts?
Well, to be honest, I'm always just trying to get better, because I think for me, the game feels enjoyable when you can feel dominant and feel like you're able to use your tools to kind of, whatever vision you have on the field, let that play out and be an integral part of the team's success. So I think for me, that's always a driving factor. But additionally, I'm stepping into a team with FC Kansas City that had great success last year and won the NWSL championship. So they were league champions. So for me, I'm really just trying to fit into what the group has already been doing well and see if I can add anything to that. So hoping to help them repeat.
Do you find maybe a little bit more pressure since they had so much success last year and you're coming in and you're the new person? If the team doesn't do as well, will that weigh on you at all? Is there any pressure in that aspect?
I think a little bit. That comes with the territory. Anytime you go into a successful program or environment, you want to help that group continue the success. But I think also the way this league is set up with only 9 teams at the moment and such great talent throughout, anyone can win on any given day. So it's about whichever group kind of consistently puts together those good efforts and gets the result day in and day out. But at the same time, there's so much talent out there that I think nothing's a given. I could have a great season. The team here could be awesome, and then someone else could steal it at the end. So I think it's too competitive to, be able to expect anything really.
Now, last year your team was the Washington Spirit. Even though you're not on the team, I know that you're involved with a soccer tournament going on in D.C. So are you still pretty connected to that community?
Yeah, I consider the D.C. area my home base for now, I'd say. Really working to establish a life and make Kansas City home as well. But I do have an apartment still in the D.C. area, and I've gotten involved with a lot of youth coaching and working with youth players, as well as have some great mentors and coaches in the area that I work with myself in the off season. So I think for me, that's kind of home base at the moment.
And you also have something coming up in the summer, basically a training camp. Tell us a bit about that. It's Michelle Akers training camp.
Yeah, so there's a new group that's starting up an online soccer magazine. They're called Amplified Soccer. So you guys should definitely check them out. But they're working on a lot of great things within the women's game in the U.S. And they reached out to me because they're getting a group together, basically a group of experts, although alongside Michelle Akers, you don't really need any experts. She's a legend. So I was just honored to be asked to, help out at her camp. So basically, she lives and works on a farm in Atlanta, and they're bringing in a few experts, myself, Chris Gorez, who I work with in the weight room pretty often, and then a couple other experts are coming in and going to run. We're just coming in for a day, but there's going to be a few day camp there for some female players.
All right, again, you're listening to the Ari Louis Show here on IsraelSportsAndNewsRadio.com, and my guest this afternoon is Yael Averbuch. And Yael, I've always been impressed with your dominance on the internet, thousands of hits on YouTube, and I want to know what it's like for you that you post a picture of yourself, a selfie, and you get over 4,000 likes. Is that freaky at all for you?
I actually haven't seen how many it got, but it's interesting for me because the things I typically would think to post about are all soccer things. But I also have found that what gets a response is when I post some things off the field, what my life is like off the soccer field, what I look like off the soccer field. So I try to throw that in, every so often and kind of let people get to know me a little bit off the field. So it's kind of been a fun side project.
Yeah, you have pictures of yourself, pictures of you hanging out in your room, art cafe, all that kind of stuff. So that is done so the fans can know your life outside the field and get a better idea of you. Is that the idea?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I try to show people that, yeah, I do really care about soccer, and that's what I do pretty much all day, every day, and think about all the time. But I'm a normal person at the same time. I like to go to a coffee shop in between training sessions. Trying to learn to dance with my roommate here, which is a really funny sight. So, I'm just like everyone else. And I think it's important that especially youth female players and people who aspire to play professional soccer know that, we're normal people. We have things we're bad at. We have, normal daily schedules that while they're busy, we, sneak in some fun from time to time.
Now, you mentioned the coffee shop. I'm curious about your diet. In addition to your regimen, obviously it's intense all the time. But so can you cheat and have coffee, or you can have coffee a lot? And tell people out there listening, they want to get in shape, and they want to be. They're not going to be necessarily a professional athlete, but they want to get tips from a professional athlete. What would you tell them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a healthy lifestyle, whether it's what you eat or exercise or anything like that, has to be done in a way that's sustainable within your life. So I don't believe in doing anything that makes you miserable. If my training made me miserable or I was on a restrictive diet that made me miserable, I would not do it because those things don't last. So I think for me, what I do and what I would recommend to anybody is to find, in general, healthy, natural foods that you enjoy eating enough that you don't dread it. It's one thing to eat healthy, but if you wake up every morning and think, oh, I really only want something else than what I'm eating, it's not worth the struggle. So I think for me, I eat a lot. I'm always hungry. I burn a lot of calories during the day with what I'm doing. So I know I'm going to eat a lot. In general, I try to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fairly low fat, but I'm not very restrictive with that because I think there are a lot of really good healthy fats. In general, low sugar, but I definitely have my ice cream when I want it. And if I go past Dunkin' Donuts and I need to go through the drive-thru there, I'll definitely get a donut. So I think that in general, if you do the right things, and are consistent about them, then it's okay to have a treat once in a while, and you should have a treat once in a while. You should enjoy what you're eating. So that's really what I try to live by, is that I eat healthily and I'm conscious of that on a daily basis from meal to meal. But at the same time, I definitely do enjoy what I eat. And I have my desserts every day.
So you don't go around in life and you're not basically you're not unhappy. You're not saying, wow, I really wish I could have this, or I'm not happy about this. You're very happy with your lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think, I think that you can live like that for a couple years maybe, but for me, my career and the way I live, that is my life. So I absolutely wouldn't do it and definitely wouldn't enjoy it if I didn't, pay attention to the things I like. And I function the same way with my training, with everything I do. I'm very, very disciplined, but at the same time, I've chosen things to do and ways of doing them that I find enjoyable.
Again, this is the Ari Louis Show here on Israel Sports and NewsRadio.com, and our guest this afternoon is Yael Averbuch. And Yael, I saw a post a few months ago about Messi and Ronaldo, an article saying they are the greatest soccer players in history, and you posted that. So I guess you agree with that. You say are they the two best ever or two of the best?
Well, I think it's hard to say best ever because I think, you have people playing in different generations and absolutely unreal players who've played, and their careers don't overlap with Messi and Ronaldo. So I think it's hard to make a statement like that. But I mean, for me, when I watch them, their dominance is just unparalleled at this point, at least. And I think that the stats they're racking up and, they're both in the prime of their career, which is almost just scary if you think about it right now. They're definitely going to leave this game with numbers that will be hard to beat and definitely some highlight tapes that will be hard to beat for years and years to come.
Yeah, you talk about Lionel Messi. He just turned 27, so he's got some time left to go. So does Ronaldo. So you're right; it's certainly scary what they'll be able to accomplish. Now, I had on Dinah Redmond about a week ago, and I was asking her about a women's sport, WNBA, and their main star, Diana Taurasi, is not playing this season because she wants to rest up and play in Russia, and there's more money overseas. I want to know how your thoughts about that, how that relates to the role of soccer when there are all these offers to play overseas, and maybe you want to play in the States, but the money's not there, and you're kind of conflicted, with what you want to do and financial situations. So if you can just give us a perspective from a professional female athlete.
Yeah, I think it's tough for professional female athletes at this point because, like a professional male athlete, we, dedicate our life to this. We train just as hard. It's our livelihood, but there's not the same money in it as there is on the men's side. And so it creates a kind of different lifestyle and some different career considerations always. Right now for female players in the U.S., the NWSL League really only lasts 6 to 7 months of the year. So we have a long off season where we're, technically unemployed and don't have a place to play. So a lot of players have supplemented their NWSL season by going and playing overseas. There's not big money anywhere in women's soccer at this point. And I think it's slowly growing and definitely gaining traction, but none of us are doing it for the money. So I think that we are trying to absolutely make a living. And if we need to supplement that with coaching or go play overseas for a few months to make a little extra money, that's definitely important. But no one's making these decisions to get rich, basically. I think that a lot of us are focused on our personal development on and off the field, and to be able to experience living in another country and creating a life there is very valuable. In addition to the experience on the field and what you can gain and then bring back to the U.S. So I think a lot of us are making it work in very creative ways, which, I always tell people I'm really, really proud of the group of women's soccer players who are in my current age range. So I don't consider myself an old player. I'm 28, but I'm definitely not right out of college. This is my career. I've made it work for some years now and plan to continue for some years. And there's a group of players in my age range who have worked very hard to do the same. And I think that there's definitely something to be said for that. It takes creativity, it takes dedication, and it takes some sacrifice.
So, and part of it is just simply the love of the sport. Even if there's less money, you love the sport so much, that's what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've dedicated our lives to it since we were young, and we enjoy what we do. On any given day, even if I'm having a bad day or I'm frustrated, I get to be out there on a sunny day on a grass field playing soccer. So I think, I'm very grateful and I feel very fortunate to be able to do that.
All right, again, this is the Ari Louis Show here on Israel Sports and NewsRadio.com, and our guest this afternoon is Yael Averbuch. And Yael, you posted also something interesting regarding a upscale nightclub that was near your former campus. So you're a Tar Heel, obviously, North Carolina. So I'm a little curious about that. Why is it being replaced? What's going on exactly? Why did it mean so much to you?
Well, first of all, I just need to clarify by saying the usage of the term upscale in that title was absolutely a joke, because if anybody saw this place, I have great memories from Players Nightclub, but I don't think anybody who's been in there would call it upscale.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it was basically one of those grungy places that everybody who went or is at UNC currently has some kind of funny memory from. So, there were a lot of funny nights there with teammates and friends. And for me, it was kind of a moment to be sentimental because I had such a great experience in college at the University of North Carolina, living in Chapel Hill. And that place was absolutely, a huge part of it. We all would have those nights where, the next day you show up at training and you're laughing about whatever happened there. So I thought it was a funny thing to post and a kind of a fun memory to get people to comment on there and share some of their memories from Players Nightclub.
I know that obviously you're a UNC alum, you're a Tar Heel. Duke's in the Final Four. Now, Carolina doesn't have a dog in the fight, but if you're anti-Duke, you're rooting against them in the Final Four. Is that the plan this weekend?
Yeah, well, you know what? I have to be honest. I am really bad at following other sports, including college basketball. So I'm one of those people who filled out their brackets just on, I just picked whatever team was easier to write or had fewer letters to write into the next round. So I don't even remember who I put in the Final Four or put winning. I never got so into the Carolina-Duke rivalry. I know there's people who are so diehard about it. So I don't really, feel the hatred like some people do. So I can't even really comment on that and feel like I'm being genuine. But I will probably watch the games. I have a couple teammates from Duke. My roommate actually went to Duke. So I think I'll be watching with them and not hating them as much as I probably should.
Yeah, because for some Carolina fans, Duke not winning is like Carolina winning the championship. So we'll see a little of that, I'm sure, in the Final Four. Now, this Friday night, of course, is Passover, and as I mentioned, you grew up in New York. You have kind of Judaism everywhere. Now you're in Kansas City. I want to know, what's the Jewish community like? What's Passover going to be like? Your plans. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured that out yet. I actually did an interview with a Jewish publication here, and I asked the person I was speaking with if they could share some context within the Jewish community, because that's something that's become very important to me, is to get involved in the community wherever I move. And two really easy ways to do that I found in the past and meaningful ways for me are to, first of all, get involved in the Jewish community, but then also kind of the youth soccer community. So those are kind of my two go-to things. I haven't actually reached out to the Jewish community here in Kansas City yet. But my roommate, Rebecca Moros, is also Jewish. And so we were thinking of, maybe holding a little Seder, inviting some of our teammates and letting them experience their first Passover. Or maybe we'll reach out to the Jewish community and see if there's someone we can join forces with.
Okay, good idea. By the way, for people listening, I also don't have plans finalized myself either. So if you want to write me on Facebook, Ari Louis, I'll be happy to, look at the invite, see what will work. Now, I want to talk to you. You posted something very, very interesting about your sister is doing a cycle for survival, and I know that meant a lot to you because you posted about it. If people want to get involved, tell us how they can go about doing that.
Oh, that's a good question. I actually think that that event that she was part of has already concluded. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. But I always try to post if I find something meaningful or personally relevant to me. I will retweet or post about it on my social media. So if you're interested in what kind of causes I'm interested in, you can always follow me on social media. But something that I always try to do, and I've found this to be very personally rewarding, is I try to if I see something posted on Facebook or Twitter and it's a cause that I feel is something I believe in, whether it's just strikes me a certain way or somebody I know reached out and said I would appreciate you donating, I always just donate a little bit, whether it's $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever I'm able to donate at that time I do. So I've kind of been going by that, and I think it's great if people want to do the same.
Okay, and everyone can find out your website is Yael Averbuch, which is spelled Y-A-E-L, then A-V-E-R-B-U-C-H. And if they want to follow you on Twitter, where can they find you there?
It's YAEL_AVERBUCH. So just my first name _ last name.
And also, if you want to be part of the 130,000 people who follow Yael on her fan page, you can type her name in Facebook and follow her on her fan page as well, see all the great stuff she's doing. Yael, good luck on the season coming up in just about 11 days. We appreciate the time. I know everything's busy right now. And have a happy Pesach, and keep me posted on what you decide to do. If you have the teammates over Friday night for the Seder, let me know how that works out. I'll try to keep you posted on what I'm doing Friday night.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, if anyone's in Kansas City who happens to be listening and wants to join forces with us for Passover or come to our Seder. We haven't even planned it yet, but feel free to reach out. So thank you so much, Ari.
Sure. What would life be without the last minute, right? My science teacher always told me that.
Seriously.
So there you go. So everything will work out.
I like that.
Yes, indeed. All right, Yael, thank you so much. Be well. We'll speak to you soon.
Same to you. Bye.
Bye-bye.